A new wave of music hit the nation in the 1960s. The craze over Beatlemania would change the music industry nationwide. And here in central New York, Frank Malfitano saw the music scene striking a new chord with local artists.
In the early 60s, when the Beatles set the world on fire, we had our own vocal scene, and it was rich. We had a lot of groups and a lot of great vocalists.
Everybody time up!
Setting the stage for a music scene that future local artists like Israel Hagan would use to play alongside music legends.
There was a time, like in the 80s, where, touring bands would come through town and they'd want an opening act. So, the agents in town would call you up and say, hey, you want to open for B.B. King? Hey, you want to open for Carlos Santana?
But that was long ago. In what has become an all but vanishing live local music scene, the Palace Theater hosted this year's Syracuse Area Music Awards, known as the Sammys, an on-stage showcase for upstate musicians and a celebration of their talents.
One of the things we wanted to do, we wanted to elevate the local scene. I mean, we wanted to give them some props for doing an incredible job because they give so much back to the community. I mean, music's part of your life. It's everything.
For Israel, music is not just a part of his life. He lives to create it.
I was born with music inside of me. So nobody influenced me. It was just, and it has always been there.
And the passion behind the work has paid off, as Israel and his band, Stroke, have taken home 9 Sammy Awards and been inducted into the Sammys Hall of Fame, an accomplishment that Sammy board members think will encourage other local artists to keep pursuing their music careers.
Well, we hope that it's something that people would aspire to, that they would record their own music and that they would submit it and that they would take joy in being nominated.
Back in the early 90s when the Sammys first started, local musicians were unsure about the impact it would have on the music community. But today it's one of the most prestigious awards for local musicians. And this year the Sammys were nearly sold out.
This year, 76,000 votes were counted and nearly 100 CDs were submitted, bringing live music back into the spotlight.
For those of us that have chosen to do music for a living and are passionate about music, but who never make it to the national level to, chase Grammy awards and things like that, the Sammys are our Grammys.
Gary Frenet and his band, the Flash Cubes, were a huge draw for the Sammys this year as new Hall of Fame inductees. The Cubes formed their power pop band back in the late 70s and have kept the band together for almost 40 years, even touring internationally in Japan after an old tape of their music somehow found its way across the sea.
They were all younger people who had found this music, and they were just nuts about it. They were jumping around and dancing, leaping onto the stage with us, and it was really quite a scene. It was really great.
And here in Syracuse, the crowd was on their feet to welcome the Flash Cubes back home. The bands and genres that make up the music scene in Syracuse may have changed over the years, but the Sammys are a way to commemorate the past and acknowledge the new additions to a rich music history. Regina Sibilia, NCC News.